you claim you spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sears' son, Dylan.
That's right.
And it was never proven that you are his biological father.
That's right.
Now, Ms. Sear, you say you have proof that Mr. Manser is Dylan's father. You argue you are here to prove again that he is the father of your son, to finally stop him running from his responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Manser, explain to the court the circumstances surrounding your arrest.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here to explain that 12 hours of my life cost me 5 years in the Department of Corrections. She was a friend of my aunt. She was best friends with my aunt. We all lived in the same little community. She lived across the street. I knew of her, I knew her, I've spoken to her. But as far as intimacy, we was together one time, and I hate to be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
I don't care what your version was. I was far from a one-night stand.
Living across the street from each other?
Far from a one-night
My wife's gonna be
stand.
upset because I live across the street from somebody I'm not dating.
Sear,
Oh, if I was your
Sear,
wife, I wouldn't
all
trust you for nothing.
I don't think after all of this that has transpired, it really matters whether it was a one-night stand
Right.
or a
It does matter.
two-day tryst.
My biggest concern.
The point is you all had a sexual relationship
Right.
at some point, so there is a possibility that he's the father of
Right.
your son,
Correct.
Dylan.
Possibility.
Okay.
I didn't find out anything about the child until I was served with papers in 1995.
And so
And you
you
did
showed
that,
up
huh?
for court, and what
No,
happened?
I wasn't
No, you
able
didn't
to.
show
I wasn't
up.
able to show up for court. I was completely on the other side of the state. I was indigent. I was living at my mom's. Didn't have a job at the time, so I didn't show up for court. And I was named the natural father by default.
And then what happens?
And then I was charged criminally for not paying the child support that was ordered in the default judgment.
So how did you get arrested?
That came 3 years later after I still didn't pay child support, still wasn't able to pay. I still had doubt. I've never, to this day, thank God for your show, or I'd never know for sure whether or not I was the natural father. Never.
For about 8 years. Quit telling him it's 3 years. It was
It was-
about 8 years.
The court order was 1995. I got arrested in 1998, so that's 3 years in my calculation. 12 years. And then and I went to prison for 5 years. When I got out of prison in 2003, I paid child support from that day until just February of last year when I lost
Only
my job.
because they garnished your wages.
Absolutely, that's what they do. And I actually asked my public defender, where's the proof? I've yet to see proof that the child's mine. He said that they obtained my DNA through a sample that was already on file. That's what she's claimed
For a
this whole
daughter
time.
you didn't raise too.
So, that's right.
Your evidence clearly states that there was a laboratory test performed.
Yes, ma'am.
I see here.
I don't think it happened. I think she worked in the lab and that she's had this thing manufactured. So,
This is
That's
what
upset.
movies are made of. Now, Miss
Yeah.
Miss Sear,
That's what I'm
I am good at my job, but I'm
Miss
not
Sear?
that good.
Well,
did you
who's to
work at
say?
a lab?
I
They
did.
never- I mean,
Actually, at that time, I worked at a plasma center. I harvested plasma with 16 gauge needles. Had nothing to do with DNA.
I'm sure that
Do, however, see a lab record of a collection taken on May the 1st, 1995, which they claim was you.
The-
Ms. Sear, I see the laboratory results of the testing with a probability of paternity of 99.67%. What I do believe that's missing in all of this evidence is I don't see any information relating to the collection of the sample from Mr. Manser. The lab, because of the sensitivity of this issue, ran 2 tests. The results are as follows. In the case of Manser versus Sear, as it pertains to 20-year-old Dylan Sear, Mr. Manser, you are not
oh, God.
his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry. This is why. This is why I did what I did.
But this is nothing I made up. The lab
You
did it.
made it all up.
No, I did not.
Well, those results are pretty
I don't know
made
any
up.
of those people on that form.
Oh, my God.
This is clearly the most shocking
Very much.
news we've ever gotten in this courtroom.
Oh my God. She should be convicted of some crime.
I should not. I did
Mr.
is fraud.
Manser, Mr. Manser,
That is fraud.
I know you're upset.